Hello, hello. We're building apps with Cursor today. Cursor's got this insanely powerful new agent mode that it's incredible. It can build all kinds of things. And one of my philosophies in life and business is automate, automate, automate. I want to find repetitive tasks that people are doing manually, in this case myself, and then I want to build scripts, bots, and agents to do those for me. So we're gonna just live code here. Nothing's pre-canned. We're just gonna start a brand new tool. So here we go. We got this script cursor new tool. We're gonna start out a script. We're gonna build a tool that I play drums for church. So the goal for this is I want to end up with a nice drum notes for myself to play from, to be created from the set list for the service that we've got. Our service has several songs. They're listed in Planning Center. I want to query that and then grab, if I already have played those songs before, grab those and build it into a run sheet for the set. Here we go, cursor new tool. We're using Bun because that will allow us to write a TypeScript project with a 0 build, so it's blazing fast. Next, we're gonna create a to-do with project details. I want my agent flow to be able to work from a work set, so I'm just setting up a skeleton here, and then we'll create the to-do. High level. This app should query the next Sunday song list from Planning Center Services. I have environment variables to access the API. We should generate a list of string of the song names. Then we should find existing song notes for each of those songs and put it in one final output txt file. Save that to disk. Okay, so that's the high level vision. So to do setup planning center API. Query service get songs. Check for song notes in folder. Users as random. If not found in there, grep for it in for the song notes anywhere in drum or subfolders and extract the relevant song notes. Create one final text file. Write it into drum sets with the worship set date, working rules. Do one task at a time. Verify your work with integration tests. Use Bun test. Do not work on a new task until the tests are passing and TSC is compiling for each item. If you need something from me, ask. Do not continue to blind. All right, here we go. This is ready to go. Put a check mark on the test once it's done. Here we go. I'm just going to tell the agent, do the first thing. Here we go. This is what they call vibe coding now. And this is very powerful. Okay, so it's checking out. It's looking at our code, which is just a blank setup. It's adding some packages. All right, it's going to build a Planning Center API client. It's making integration tests, so it's going to get stuck on the credential. Once it finishes writing this test, then what we're going to do is we're going to stop the, okay, we're going to jump in here. Never mock anything. Okay, so details, let's see. Okay, so it's going to change its configuration approach. So right now we're using agent mode. We're using Cursor version 4610 and Claude 3.7 Sonnet, which is the most powerful for building structures with code. Okay, we got a test. Let's see how we're looking. It's got the API base using Axios. It verifies that we've got the values. So it lints. This is a nice thing that came out recently, is it's able to detect TypeScript lint errors and then run those, which is very nice. Okay, it's running our acceptance test. So this is one thing I work with when I want to work with agent loops. If I'm writing, so you always want to have a feedback step. You want to be directing your agents so they can self-reflect and evaluate their own work to say, is this work good enough? You don't usually want agents running without some kind of evaluation framework because they can go off the rails. So you always want the agent to be able to have some way to verify if its work is good enough. And for code, that is unit test / integration test / acceptance test. You want to have tests written alongside your code. This is the same as the development paradigm of test-driven development. You want to be building your production code in line with your tests. Okay, let's see where we're at. 2 tests are passing, but issue, I'm trying to get the songs for a plan. So we're getting there. It's running 2 of the tests are passing. This is beautiful. We'll try that ourselves too. Let's see, bun test. Three passes, okay. So the agent is busy developing. It's starting to do that first thing. Now it's going to mark our first task completed. We are cooking. Okay. So this is nice, right? Mostly I'm doing very little typing. I'm mostly directing my coding agent to build this application for me. I had to know just a little bit, but it's able to do most of the rest. I need to have the vision and the architecture and kind of know what I'm connecting. But the rest, the agent's able to mostly go ahead and connect and do the tedious, detailed work. Let's see. Gratitude for services after 316. Interesting. There's a bug. I think you skipped the day by one. Try to get 4. 316. Not after it. I want my set list for the upcoming Sunday. So this is a thing I had to know. I already glanced at my set list because I practiced this one a little earlier. I didn't make my notes yet for it, but I do know that this is not the correct 4 songs. So I think this is a preview of what we're playing in the future. Actually, it's even... It's getting a really wrong set. Okay. Run the app and ensure that the plan is for March 16, 2025. The first song should be, oh, I don't know. I forget. This is our God. Let's see what it cooks up. Yep, date handling is still wrong, so it's going to go back and forth. Dates are a notoriously complicated problem to get right in interop because a lot of systems represent dates differently. Oh, is it hard coding this? Okay, so at least it's working through this. This is also where we can look at the documentation. Planning center, authentication, reference, people, services. Okay. Plans. Single plan. Let's see how the agent is doing. Okay, so it wrote a new script to help debug us. It's finding the ID. Okay, so it's jumping ahead. It might have solved the current problem, but it created a new problem. All right, we're just watching the agent work here, learning about how this flow goes. Text files. Okay. All right, let's see. So, where are we with this? It says it's done stuff. Do the next task, then on the program, and check your final work. So this is kind of my current agent flow is I want to work out of this project management view, and here it's this to-do.markdown file, but I could also build a model context protocol tool so then I can use Jira, GitHub issues, Asana, Monday, etc., Trello. And then I could manage it that way. So the agent could then query those. The reason I like Markdown is it's very fast. It's super fast. And that way it kind of lives alongside the project management, lives alongside the project. This is especially good for very small projects when you can build something, a whole application in 30 minutes, 2 hours, then you don't need a bigger, heavier project management flow. And then for longer running projects, you probably do, and when you're working with a team too, then you're going to want a bigger tool. So that's where you write model context protocol integrations for those other ones. Okay, let's see how this is looking. Let's see what it did. All right, so we got some issues. What kind of issues? Key thing is didn't find anything. Fix bug for find song in folder. Write and acceptance test that ensures you can find song praise the real folder. Verify the output and lock that into the creation test. Do the next item. Come on, agent. So I'm putting more work in the queue, and I just tell the agent to go for it. It indexes the context of not only what it's done, but also all the application code. So it remembers a bit. This is pretty nice. That's why I can just from this file tell it to do a thing, and it knows what I mean because of all that context. That's if you don't have the context, then the agent won't know it's meant. But when you have enough instructions provided contextually, then it can follow those instructions the same way a human would who already knows the context of what the project is. No. Okay, let's see. So, okay, pop in. Song we do have is Right Above It All. So the agent generally has tools for this kind of thing. Command not found. Okay, this is what I expected. Now it's going to write an acceptance test. So it could have found it. It's got the file and folder reading tool, so it should be able to find things on my own computer that I've given it permission to. It didn't find those correctly. So we're going to evolve this, make sure it tests and proves that works. Okay, it was just looking for text extension. I guess I've been saving these files with no extensions. Not a big deal. A more robust version of this app was store these in a database and then be able to kind of manage it through a UI. You know, maybe we'll add that on top later and change out the data source. It'd be pretty fun. Okay. All right, this is good. It's updating the to-do. And then I don't really like that test. I don't really like this test. I like this acceptance test. This is the best. Okay. Okay, so it's still cleaning up some remnants from that hard-coded bit. It wasn't very thorough. And this application is very small. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 files of production code. So this is a very nice small utility, but you can notice that even with a small utility, you have to be the director to avoid classes of like careless mistakes. And these kinds of careless mistakes can happen not only with AI agents, but also with human developers. When I'm outsourcing human developers, they also sometimes make kinds of mistakes like this. They say, hey, we implemented the feature to spec, but you'll find it's missing something that in order to actually make it work. And they'll tell you like, oh, we thought it wasn't supposed to return anything yet, and not know that there was real data there. This happens a lot. Or sometimes side effects, or like, hard coding and stuff for debugging and then not taking that out. That can happen. All right, this is one of the things. The agent right now stops after 25 tool calls, so you can't totally just set it on autopilot and walk away unless it can build your whole product in 25 or less. You'll have to continue it sometimes. Okay, let's stop this. The check services is a tool you built to help fix your dynamic date calculations. Use it until without any hard coding, we get the service plan for 316.25. 20,256. Got a fun typo there. Boom. But thankfully, AI knows that that's a typo. This is very nice. Okay, so now it knows the formatting it's got to go for. It's going to update the get next Sunday service. I guess I should be giving it the instruction to clean up after itself, because that's one thing. It will abandon problematic approaches, but it won't clean up after itself. Like it didn't get rid of the .m file that I don't want it to use, and it didn't clean up that check services script that it just wrote temporarily for debugging. So that's a thing to be aware of, is your AI agent may leave some craft and doesn't always create the cleanest workflow behind it. So the agent did solve the problem, but it didn't update the code. It didn't understand what it did to fix, is what it appears. This format, targeted date, numeric long, numeric might be what it needs. Okay. All right, we're almost at feature complete again, and I'm going to run a real live test. Very cool. It's running the tests. Now it's going to do the final task. So then once I execute this program, it will go into Planning Center, grab my songs, and we'll see. It's going to make a file for me, and we'll see if the file is right. If it has my notes from the last time I played these songs. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the summary. Now let's run this. Okay, these are the right songs. It didn't open them. Why did it not open them? Okay, it did open this. Good, we're getting there. Don't tell me what file you found the notes in. Read the notes in the file and put them in my output. Log a warning for any songs you didn't find. Make acceptance tests for song getting song notes for Bless God. You still are missing the real files usually. Don't tell me who the authors are in the song name in the notes. Final format report should be like drum set 1027. The new tasks. Okay, it's trying to do... Is it trying to do all 5 of them at once? It's very ambitious. Maybe. It copied my awkward, I held down shift too long for the E. It's doing the same thing. Sometimes AI agents, monkey see, monkey do, right? It can infer some things are mistakes and some things it decides are not human mistakes that it wants to emulate. So be careful. Your agents, just like children, learn from you. So it's changing the file name format, but it's not actually, it didn't look at the real report. It's unfortunate. With the correct capitalization. So silly. Okay. So it's doing a good job of running the tests. I wish it would run the tests before it marks the to-dos. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, we got notes. All right, we're getting closer. Did we not have every chance I get? Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. Okay. Okay. So the easiest, let's reflect on what we've had this do and what the snags have been. So we did the initial architecture research. The Planning Center API integration was drop dead easy. That was working very fast. The finding files locally was a little more messy. The date formatting, it didn't really look at what the Planning Center API wanted for the date searching capability. So I got hung up on that. And then I didn't really have it, I didn't give it a sample of what the report should look like. If we'd given it a sample of what the output should look like, then we wouldn't have to be talking about the tweaks to the report format so much. That part's not quite as nice. I think those are some of the key hurdles we've run into. Otherwise, this seems like it's been working fairly nicely. But this was kind of the process. You get to see how I use Cursor as agent mode and Claude 3.7 Sonnet to build out and automate routine workflows that I manually go through. This is how you can build these from scratch. Almost any workflow that you have that you're doing every week, every day, you can automate too with just a little work and vibe coding, where as long as you understand what the task is to be done and roughly the kinds of things that are needed to build it, then you can direct the application to build that for you. I highly recommend one homework thing that you can do is next time you have a day, maybe a work day, just sit down and write down notes of all of the different tasks you're performing. Like, what are you filling your day with? And then after you've documented that for a day, go through and look at that and mark like how automatable are those workflows. Like, you can at least think to yourself, what kind of work would it take to automate this, and how often are you running this process, and how much time would it save you if you did automate that? And the things that are highly automatable, like buy yourself time by automating those processes. That's my recommendation, and this is how I use Cursor Agent with Claude to automate my workflows. Cheers.